What's the one thing, if he did, what's the worst thing that you think he did in his 3.5 years or whatever as mayor? Because you voted with him most of the time.
Not running for re-election.
Well, it gives you the opportunity, though.
Well, you know.
All right. Well, so how are you going to, you've talked about some of these visionary projects and things like that, and how are we going to attract more businesses to Dallas and not just the county or the surrounding suburbs or places like that that tend to be growing, but how can we grow the business community here in Dallas, in the city?
Well, I chair the Economic Development Committee, and my background, I'm a private sector person. You know, 6 years ago I was out there like, you know, the rest of the private sector. I spent an inordinate amount of time internationally. I've done business in Europe, Asia, South America, all over the world. One of the things that we've changed since I've been on the council is we've made an international reach. We're out there selling the city of Dallas, not only domestically to the other parts of the United States, but on an international basis, because that's where our competition is. We've had a huge influx of business, not only on a national basis, but international. We aggressively went out and moved AT&T here. We didn't do it the old way. We didn't wait around for them to say, oh, Dallas is a great city. Let's think about moving there. We go to these businesses and we show them why it's better for their bottom line to be operating in Dallas, Texas than San Antonio or Kansas City or any other city. We have almost a constant stream of people coming from what I call the rusty Northeast, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York, you know, California, both coasts. They're always here. They're looking at what we have to offer as a city, what it'll cost them to do business here, and we've got a good story to sell. And we're out there proactively selling it, and we're seeing the results. You're seeing companies like AT&T move here, Comerica Bank moved from Detroit. I mean, Detroit, a city that had a population of almost 3 million people 20 years ago. It's got a population of, I think, around 700,000 today. What that means is 2.2 million people left Detroit for somewhere, and a good share of them are moving down here. Texas is a real good environment for business. We've got basically a low tax structure. In New York City, they tax you the minute you're born, every penny you earn, and when you die, they tax you. That's not the environment that businesses like to deal with. So we're giving them an opportunity to change. One of the things that we've done specifically to separate Dallas from the suburbs is we created what's called the City of Dallas Regional Center. And that's a project I started about 4 years ago. It took about 3.5 years to implement. It wasn't easy to do. It's a federal program that allows foreign nationals who pass a background test to invest $500,000 in a project in the city of Dallas, create 10 jobs for U.S. citizens, and allows them to move to the head of the line and get a green card for immigration purposes. That brings money into the city of Dallas. We closed the deal a couple of weeks ago under that program. A $15 million deal. There were investors from China, there were investors from Korea, and there were investors from Mexico, all investing in a project that will create a call center to be operated here in the city that will employ 300 people. And that's something that we couldn't do if we didn't have that tool in our toolbox. We've got a lot of other things in our toolbox. Along that line, this is one more, and we need to continue to be innovative.
Any other tricks like that you want to share with us now?
Well, I'm not sure I want to tell my competitors any of those good tricks here, but I've got a few more up my sleeve. You know, I think you have to be aggressive when you go out there. You can't wait for business to come to you, and we do have to separate ourselves from the suburbs. But at the same time, the suburbs won't be successful if the city of Dallas is not successful, and vice versa. We can't really be all we need to be without the suburbs. We're a unique city, and unlike Houston, where we're landlocked. We've got first ring, second ring, and third ring suburbs around us, locking us in. Houston went out, and they just took over the whole county, so they have a lot of room to grow. Interestingly, when you look at the economy of the city of Dallas, you've got the New York area, you've got LA, you've got Chicago, and you've got the Dallas metro area. We're the 4th largest economic area in the United States, and that says a lot for where we are, and we're continuing to grow. LA's not growing, Houston has fallen off the chart, New York is not growing that way.
So what do you think the single biggest problem facing Dallas right now is?
Well, I think we have to manage our future. I think you can't continue to grow in an unchecked manner where you're not paying attention to your police protection, your fire protection, your neighborhoods. I mean, obviously, if you have people moving in, you're seeing redevelopment. You have to be cognizant of the fact that we've got a lot of well-established residential neighborhoods, and we need to focus our growth and make sure it happens the right way. It's projected that we're going to gain about another 1 million people every 5 years in this area. They're going to go somewhere. You've got street issues, you've got air quality issues, a lot of things that go with it. So it's managing that vision and making sure that you do it in the right way. You talked earlier, if you don't mind, we'll jump back to some of the big projects. The American Airlines Center was a far more hotly contested issue than the Convention Center Hotel. It passed by 50 point something, 0.0000 whatever, barely passed. We went out and issued 30-year bonds for that. We're redeeming them later this year, 14 years early. So I would say that our financial projections that we made on that were very, very conservative, and were good for the city. Can you imagine today if that was still an old polluted railroad yard that it was versus what we've got today, the AA Center and the buildings that are part of the Victory development?
Do you ever wish we had pushed that over toward the convention center? I mean, that would have created a hub near a place where we already want to create activity. And
yeah,
I mean, it went where it did because of the real estate action.
Yeah.
Hicks and Pearl wanted to go that way, but had we pushed it there, it would have been better for the city.
Right.
We were investing money from the city.
Well, the interesting thing about it, you can wish and hope on a lot of stuff. I still wish we had we landed the Cowboy Stadium here instead of where it went. But you got to get over those things and move forward. The interesting thing about Victory is that if you look at Lamar Street and you go south and you cut through the core of downtown, and then you go into the activity that's happening over in the Cedars, south of 30, we have, interestingly, a unique opportunity to take Lamar Street and make it basically a north-south spine through downtown to intersect with the activities that we've got going on east and west. But we've got plans now for a streetcar to run up and down Lamar Street. So Victory will be the north end, the Cedars area will be the south, Convention Center's right in the middle of all that, and I think it creates a good opportunity for us.
Talking about the AAC, the Rangers lease is up in Arlington in about 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've already looked at that.
Anything you want to say any more about, or
nope.
Something we should be going after?
I'm not sure I want to be out on the internet with my plans for that.